evening, good morning, or good afternoon, depending on YouTube. This is me, Always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Badminton Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, it's Friday. Hey! Whew. I remember those days on Fridays. You look forward, you just got paid. I used to have a job where I worked like 4 hours, actually 4 days out of the week, 10 hours a day. Friday was not, but I did have a side job where I had to work on Fridays. But I don't have to worry about those days anymore. I don't have to worry about that job. I ain't got no job, Tommy. But folks, I want to appreciate you for coming through. And also before we start, as you heard this today, we lost a legend. One of the most amazing men is in the world of martial arts and movies and television. Carlos Ray Norris, aka Chuck Norris. He passed away yesterday suddenly. The amazing man. He started out his career with guys like Bruce Lee, his movies such as Delta Force, Missing in Action, Vision America. I mean, then his turn on television as the Walker Texas Ranger, which was based on one of his movies, Lone Wolf McQuade, which is a classic with him and the late David Carradine. Just amazing guy. His politics, not big fans of, but just what he contributed to the world of movies, martial arts. He opened the door for a lot of actors. And I just want to remember him for what he has done in his career, in his life. He also served our country in the United States Air Force. So I don't say thank you for your service, sir. I would say, as a citizen, I appreciate the sacrifice you made on behalf of me and of this country. So we'll give more silence to the great Chuck Norris. All right. So, guys, we're having a little fun here. We have a lovely lady. I spotted her a while back. One lady I follow was competing just last year at the Masters USA. I saw her, I said, wow, I mean, who she is? I mean, and I just was kind of curious about it. So I reached out to her. She'd been kind of hesitant because I don't know. Sometimes I might scare ladies because, my personality. And it's sometimes the other guy might pop up every now and then because, he likes ladies and she is beautiful. I'm sorry about him. We have here Chrisheena Williamson, and Mrs. Williamson competes in the NPC as a figure competitor. We would like to thank you and welcome for your time.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And don't mind if it took me a while to get in, those DMs, sometimes if I don't go to that other folder too often. So.
Yeah, I know. I have heard stories. I mean, doing this content,
Yeah.
some guys are weird out there.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to start from ask this question. So, Sheena, what got you started in sports? That call it muscle and masculinity. Please.
You know what? It was kind of by happenstance. I worked at 24 Hour Fitness here in Dallas, just as a part-time gig, and it was like it used to be like an old Gold's Gym, so it was a lot of old school bodybuilders, a lot of older guys in there, and one of the guys came up to me. He was like, "Have you ever thought about doing bodybuilding?" I said, "No." I mean, you talk about like gladiators, like American gladiators, from the 80s. I was like, that's what came to mind. And he was like, no, like, bodybuilding, I was like, no, never thought of it. Just in the gym trying to get my life together. Um, and ended up, he was like, you should, go check out a show and see, you might be really good at it. So
Hello.
ended up,
Hello.
yep, I'm here.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I just had a little temporary something happened on my end, but as did you were talking. So what got you started in this sports? They call it muscle masculinity.
So I was working at 24 Hour Fitness as a part-time gig. And it was used to be an old Gold's Gym. So there was a lot of old school bodybuilders there, a lot of older guys. And one of the guys came up to me and asked me, like, have you ever thought about doing bodybuilding? He's like, I see you in here all the time. I was like, no. You mean like American Gladiator? Like that kind of thing? I was like, nah, I'm good. He was like, he's like, well, just go to a show and, just check it out. Like, it's kind of cool. And so I actually ended up going to, I think that was the Heart of Texas. Um, that's the show I went to, my very first show. And I was like, oh, I was like, that's kind of cool. I was like, I want to was trying to get myself back together anyway. I used to run track and play basketball in high school. So I was just like, okay. And so ended up finding me a coach at the time and did my first show in 2017. That was Texas Legends, I believe was the name of the show. I don't think it's around. It's not around anymore, but yeah, did my first show and was just like, ooh, I kind of like this. And then, it's just been doing it ever since, just trying to get better.
Yeah, I mean, it's a process bodybuilding. I've heard so many stories where he says who've been approached in the gym say, "Hey, you look kind of buff. You think you want to be a bodybuilder or like that?" And and usually the answer to ladies is to say they don't know much about it other than maybe if you think about bodybuilding, think about two people most definitely. That's Arnold Schwarzenegger, Lou Ferrigno, Incredible
Yep.
Hulk, and the Terminator, and that's what people think about bodybuilding. It's always associated with that because one of the most popular documentaries is the movie Pumping Iron. I
Yep.
remember I've seen it when I was
Yep.
a kid. But what was that experience like for you that first time as a competitor?
I think the first thing that comes to mind is when I told my dad that I was going to actually try and do this because he was just like, I showed him, he was like, what is, he's like, bodybuilding, like, what are you talking about? Like, so we looked it up on YouTube and I showed him. He was like, wait, so you got to get up there in heels and a bikini? I said, yeah, but it's more, I'm not the only one. Like, there's a whole bunch of people up there. But it's funny. He was the loudest person in the auditorium at the time. Once he like kind of saw the process and the changes that I was making, um, but getting on stage that first time, terrified, absolutely terrified. I look back at pictures and posing horrible, but I got second place. So I was just like, oh, okay, I might be actually okay at this. So, and then from there, it's just like you do that comparison of that, the first picture of like your first check-in to like your show day, and it's just like, ooh, girl, we actually did something here. So, and then you just get addicted. It's just like you want to keep getting better and better, and then you kind of learn the process of, oh, you can become a pro. There's like a whole other level, not just competing and doing this. So it was terrifying, but after that wore off, it's just like, all right, let's see how far we can really go with this.
Yeah, because it's an experience. Not everybody has the courage or the aptitude to get in a sport like bodybuilding because there's so much. I would say not as much. I would say the words might be saying sacrifice, but so much commitment, discipline, persistence, the training, the diet is involved with it. And then your dad, he's thinking about his little girl walking around in a bikini wearing clear heels. And one of my jobs, I used to work at a strip club. Yeah, but that's a different situation. I'll tell you a story another time. But that's a concern as any father. We don't want little girls walking around in clear heels. But this was something very competitive. I think it was something
Right.
he's very proud of you.
Oh, you ask him now, he's just like, so what, what are we on? Are we doing what we supposed to do? Checking in, like what's the goal for the year? So it's crazy how, things have changed to where he's like, one of my big supporters. Everybody in my family now is just like, when he's like, oh, if you're on prep, then it feels like we all on prep. I said, not necessarily, but it benefits everyone because it challenges y'all to eat better and to do better. So yeah, I think the biggest thing in doing this is like bodybuilding will either, it's either a lesson or a blessing to you, however you take that. So it could be a blessing to where you meet a lot of people, you learn so much about yourself, or it could be a lesson to where you learn what you don't want to know about yourself. Bodybuilding really does expose either the good or bad inside of you. I think because you hear the horror stories about people, you just get, especially now, I think when I first started 2017, social media it wasn't as, uh, 2017 compared to 2026 is different. Everybody's on social media now. Back in the day, it was just you just had a Facebook, but now it's just like everybody is able to promote themselves. So everybody in the gym is a bodybuilder. Let social media tell it, but it is a lot more than that. But again, I think it is a process. It is an
Hmm.
entire process. So it
Yeah,
can
that's
either
what.
change for the good or change it for the bad.
Yeah, that's what it is. A process. It's the understanding the factors of growing and training. It's good that you have support of your family and friends because sometimes in situations, I've talked to ladies where their family don't understand it. They sometimes because they're so committed to it, they friends and relationships have changed. I mean, one lady told me one time her husband got divorced over it because he didn't like the fact his wife was changing. She was a bit overweight. They had 3 kids, and then she found something that really helped her in her weight loss, and then she got more involved into it.
Yeah. I mean, the deeper you step into it, I think, again, like I said, it can either be a lesson or a blessing. So it does. Bodybuilding is not a team sport. Yeah, we have coaches, we have other people that we depend on to get us through it. But at the end of the day, it is very selfish. And, you're basing whether you win or lose on someone else's opinion of you on compared to a criteria. So, if it does take a certain amount of people that you have to weed through to either they're going to be accepting of it or either they're not. So it's up to you to choose. Well, do I still keep going on this journey, or do I let those outer things affect me and what I'm trying to do? So I mean, it's not easy. It's definitely not easy. But again, it exposes yourself and exposes people around you, and it could be good, it could be bad. So
Mhm. I learned some things in life. If it's not, if it's easy, and sometimes it's not worth having. If you're not willing to put in the work and the time into it, you won't appreciate it this month. But here's things also, you look at it. Being a woman in sport is considered very masculine. There's always that side where you can't. A couple of ladies sent me a video a while back where we were talking about how, you know, this guy was talking about how he saw a woman and he says, "Ew!" I even had a lady told me that one time she was training doing posing, and she's an attractive young lady. She's got a pro card, just at the nationals just a few months ago, and she had somebody approach and says, "Ooh, I wouldn't want to look like you. I would like my woman to look like you."
what's funny about that? Those same people that will say that on a keyboard are those same people that'll be in your DMs trying to either holler at you or ask you how did you get that way.
Or
That's the thing about that. It's just like, or they'll pull you to the side at the gym and be like, "Hey, well, you look really really good, but weren't you the same person that tried to say something slick online?" Like, yeah. So again, you're gonna have people that love it, or you're gonna have people that hate it. There's people that love the bikini body. There's people that love figure, where it's a little bit more muscle. There's other people that absolutely love female bodybuilding, as they should. So, I mean, you like it, I love it. If you don't, who cares? Again, bodybuilding will teach you a lot about yourself, but it'll also kind of help you prepare you to have a thick skin because you have to. Again, you have people judging you, 6, 7 people on stage judging you, not to mention people out in the audience looking at you in a bikini, scoring you on your body. So it's
mhm.
not for at
Well,
all.
let me quickly about that. We say female bodybuilding. Female bodybuilding encompasses not just women's bodybuilding; it encompasses all divisions. And we say female bodybuilding is all divisions from bikini to wellness
Right.
to physique to women's bodybuilding to fitness, even till one I'm not a big fan of. Anytime I say it, I have to. Oh, it's fit
No, no,
model.
I can't do it.
Fit.
I can't do it because you know what? At a certain time, people probably said the same thing about figure when it came. They probably had that same mentality when it was men's physique when they stepped on the scene, or it's just like, what y'all up here in board shorts for? Put some, get off the stage. You know what I'm saying? But now you look at it and it's one of the most popular categories when you go to a pro show.
Where with me, I'm like the outlaw Jersey where I live for the grudge. I'm not gonna
Well,
be there. I'll
it's
tolerate it, but I'm
I
not
mean,
gonna be
again,
in the
I mean,
thing.
if it's gonna help, I think expand the division, all of the divisions for women, then sure. But I mean, you can't knock it because now they have like 20 something pro shows. It
But
just came out.
here's the
So
thing, like a division like women's bodybuilding, it's illusion shows because it was the division that started to open the door for. Here, this is how I say it like this: with the exception of fit model, bikini, and wellness, those were brought in. They will come from something else. Physique grown from it, figure grown from it, fitness grown from women's bodybuilding. It is the architect division. And I wish that people give it more opportunity. And the thing is, always people look at the fact that some of these ladies are just, big, yah, yah, yah. But you look at now, has it evolved? Like if you go back to the early years, like you go back to, like I think you might older remember Linda Murray, and
mhm.
she was Miss Olympia, to Iris Kyle, now to Andrea Shaw, to people like Sid Gillen, and also you look at the current two former. Right now, they're kind of acting like two little kids, where one more like a little kid than the other one. That's Sarah Vilgas and Natalia And the thing is, I feel like the vision is going to end up looking like the vision is supposed to be kind of rebooting from after a while. Because even when wellness came in, the women will have a certain look to it. But then if you look at now, some of those wellness girls can do possibly physique or women's bodybuilding.
I mean, again, that's up to the, I think, powers that be to kind of delegate and navigate how each division moves. I think one of the more positive things is seeing how the ladies of women's bodybuilding are banding together though. That's what I see, and that's what I have so much respect for, is that even though they're facing a lot of shows getting taken away from them, they're banding together, and those ladies are representing for women's bodybuilding. So for me, I respect it and I love to see it, because seeing them band together again, that makes us want to stand up with them as well.
Yeah.
So any pro bodybuilder that I see, I'm in Texas, so I see April in the gym, or in the gym grinding. You know what I'm saying? I've seen Andrea at different shows and stuff like that, when she's always, standing there and speaking to everybody, even though she looks dog tired, but still just giving love to her fans and people that respect it. So I think again, it's just one of those bridges that it's coming, but I I give them all kudos for just banding together and just trying to keep the division alive. Because again, it just can't be them. It has to be all of us, making a statement, whether it's, just at the NPC level, which I've seen, I think at this last national show, there were a lot of, as far as numbers to me, from what I've seen the last couple of shows, as far as for women bodybuilding and even women's physique, there are a lot more ladies showing up.
Yeah, I remember a couple of ladies I interviewed won their pro cards in women's bodybuilding
Mhm,
last year, and I mean one year there wasn't enough ladies that had taken just made one division where because women's bodybuilding, because not enough bodies, you only get one pro card, while with
mhm.
others there's you can get two, but that because not a lot of ladies, like I said, like you said earlier, don't feel like they're comfortable for that division because it's so bigger. And as you mentioned again, one of my favorite women of all time, that is Andrea Shaw. I just love her. A friend of mine, I got shout out anytime I got shout out. My friend Eunice, she runs the company Bad Rap, Big and Defined, Ripped and Pump. We like the rip part. She is sponsoring one of the sponsors for the upcoming
Yep,
Triple O Dynasty.
yep.
I'm a sponsor. Me and a friend of mine, his name is David from the Female Body Forum. We're sponsoring a jacket for the winner
Those
at
jackets are
the
dope too.
yeah, those jackets are great. I can't wear them to be like a fat guy in little coat. Yes, so I could wear. But this is what I want to appreciate you to doing me this a while back. This was like maybe a couple years after my birthday. It was like a week after my birthday, and Eunice was at the Olympia. That's when we were still in Orlando. And this is what I always say, like the quote from my other guy: "You ever get something, never do it for free." And I often say this: "This is my reward for what I'm doing." And my friend sent me this. And what makes it special? This is like the last issue of she's one of the last Miss Olympias on the cover of a magazine, a major magazine.
Yep,
And what makes it special for me is that she took time out and she recognized, appreciate what I'm doing by signing this.
that's dope.
That is it. That is. I hug it and love it. I call it George. I know I have somebody telling me you need to put it in the case. Nah, I sleep with it sometimes. If I have to put it in the case, I have to sleep with the whole case.
You might be doing a little bit too much.
I know, but I'm a particular type of criminal. I just have a type of personality. We have here a guest here in the comment section. This is my man here, Melvin. He says this. Melvin says, "Happy Friday. Happy Friday, brother.
Happy Friday.
Appreciate you coming through." So while we got Sheena here, we're going to do this. We're going to jump to her social media for a little bit. If you want to follow her, the link's in the description of this live. You want to check her out, you want to support her, reach out to her and share interest. But guys, as we talked earlier, guys do weird shit. Be genuine when you reach out. Don't be that weird guy and say, "Hey, Sheena, I got something in the DMs for you." No,
Again, you
stop it.
most of most of those stay. You will get left on red.
Yeah, you'd be blocked. So, guys, be respectful, reach out, genuine interest, and don't be that weird guy. No D pics. Stop it. So, we're going to jump into her social media for a little bit while we got her here. And as you know, she runs a business. So, what's your business and how long you been doing that?
It's called Will to Be Tanning. It's a tanning company, so I do uh, competition tans and also regular spray tans for different events. So, a couple clients who are models, and but mostly the biggest portion of it is just doing competition tans.
Yeah, because tanning is very important to the aesthetic of the physique. Because sometimes, especially with black people, even though our skin don't need tan too much, but there are spots that can be a little bit. You need to fill it up, make it look because make it look more even. Especially on the stage, especially with the light shining on you, you covered in baby oil. You know, and how long you been doing that?
So I actually started out with LSR on the Texas team. I think that was back in 2019, I believe. So just tanning here in Texas at some of the local shows here. And then after the pandemic happened, everything was on freeze. And then just at that time, once everything opened back up, just started to, just kind of went out on my own and just been building since.
Yeah, I know the pandemic was an awful time. My mother, she got sick. She passed away that year when it
Oh,
first
wow.
hit. I mean, yeah, she was sick for a long time, and we just didn't take much. It's tough, but it
Mhm.
was a tough year for a lot of people. Gyms
Yeah.
were closed down, competitions were getting shut down. There was so few. Some states didn't have certain shows because I know, like mentioned, Olympia was in Orlando for a couple of years,
Yep.
and then it was a tough time for a lot of people.
Yeah. That was Prayerfully we never go through that again. But yeah, that was definitely a crazy time.
Yeah, well, we right now we're under administration where we have people with lesser intelligence understanding this stuff. So we're hoping to cross our fingers and pray to God.
Just
So
stay prayed
yeah,
up and keep moving.
yeah. My mom said, "Trust and believe." He God and Jesus. Trust and believe. So, what was like yours for yourself? What's it like working some of these shows? Because I know it's a lot because you have to tan competitors. Sometimes you have people who kind of like, especially their first time doing a spray tan, they get a little shy, and then you're around buff naked women.
It's I mean, after you do it for a while, I mean, it's just I think it's the good thing about it is just even me, I'm a very, kind of introverted person. So if you're not like in my circle of people, I probably, walk around the gym, I probably look like a mean little lady. But it just kind of was a way to kind of get out of my shell. So my biggest thing is just making people feel comfortable. Just get them talking about, how was your prep, or, are you excited about the show? What are you going to eat after? I think the more comfortable you make people feel, the time kind of flies. It's You just got to make people feel comfortable.
That's good because you know what, people can get nervous, especially this is somebody who's a novice. It's the first time competing. You have some
Yeah.
people, some women, they're comfortable with it. I've heard stories where because especially with tanning, you can't use any kind of lotion, you can't use any kind of
No,
deodorant. I know
nope.
one lady she told me a story where she used to do this. She used to take the dryer sheets and use it as a for underarm deodorant because it kind of, but fuck you back there at the stage.
I mean, but when you're backstage and you're competing in a show, I mean, it's gonna smell like tan. It's gonna smell like funky bodies, and it's gonna smell like a bodybuilding show. I mean, that's the thing. But um, you just try to calm people's nerves and just try to get them, to get excited and just to honestly just enjoy the moment. Especially if it's your first show, because everything after a while just begins to be a blur. You're up at 3, 4 if you're a woman. You got to get hair and makeup done. Again, you're trying to get tan. Then you're trying to make sure everything looks right. You're still doing check-ins. You're hungry. You're tired. Even for the guys, it's kind of the same thing. Except for the hair and makeup. But you just want to get those jitters out, and then you more than likely you're just trying to think about what you're trying to eat, and you know, so you just try to create the best environment, the best experience for people.
That's good because when people feel comfortable, get used to being around a lot of strangers, seeing you in a certain, pretty much exposed. And again, for the women, I'll say like for you ladies, show days is expense compared to the men. The men just got to put on a pair of banana hammocks and board shorts. That's it. Y'all ladies have to get your hair, your makeup done, your jewelry. You have to make sure your posing suits are glued right into spaces. You know, there's more of a expensive show day than is compared to the men. And then again, the presentation
Yeah.
because you
And
have to
like
be
we said
both.
earlier, this is yeah, this is a hobby. So, you have that's one of the things that you have to, I've had conversations with girls too, like just if you're gonna do it, just understand that this can be expensive. So you don't, there's little things like you don't have to go out and buy a new suit for every show. Invest in one good suit and use that suit. Because at the end of the day, nobody's gonna remember, oh, that was the girl in the blah blah suit. No, the judges aren't going to remember that. You know what I'm saying? They're not looking at what color your suit is necessarily, as long as everything flows. But there's tips and tricks you learn, along the way. Invest in a good pair of heels. If you find a good makeup artist, invest in the makeup artist. Develop those relationships. That's the thing. Also, if you the jewelry accent, if you see decent, you can yeah, you can go to Claire's and get jewelry, but you can go to Amazon also and, buy you a good set of earrings and keep it. You don't have to buy new jewelry for every single show, you know? So it's, there's little things that you can learn, but for a woman, it's definitely an expensive hobby. It can be.
Yeah, yeah. Here's what man Melfi says. Shout out to him. He says this. He says, "Oh yeah." He says, "Muscle Mag was my favorite magazine." It says, "As a kid, and also says when you talk about your other points, he says exactly. Thank you again, Melvin. And also this is from man KL the Wonder. He just came through and he said this comment. Shout out to KL. He says, good evening, brother." Yeah, because I think it's good to be smart because you know what, this is a sport where you're pretty much competing more like in the red than the black.
Hmm.
Because it's good to get a decent suit, but then also after a while you might want to get a new one. Every now don't have to do it every now and then. Just do it
Right.
whenever you have the funds or the means to it. I know some ladies will sell their suits so you can get them used suits. You have to really clean those. There's a way around. I know one lady I interviewed a while back. She designs shoots. She gets them. She sells them on Etsy, and they're usually like maybe barely $300.
Hmm.
They're pretty decent.
Yeah, my first suit was a loaner suit that actually got I think I think Sheila Brown was actually had was selling the suit and I was like, I'll take it. It was like $100 that I paid for that suit, but I needed a suit for the first show and it worked. So, you know, but you just kind of get your feet wet, and again, if it's something that you want to pursue, do your research about it and be in the right mind frame to do it and make sure you're doing it for the right reasons.
So anyway, your last show was the Masters USA. What
Yes.
was the critique from it, and what did you feel like you needed to work on?
um so I got my feedback from, I think it was Sandy at that show. She was backstage giving feedback for us after that show, and it was just better conditioning, and then work on the glutes. So as a
Mm.
with my frame in particular, as Black women, you have a little back there is a little extra. So sometimes, I am not a wellness competitor, so I cannot have wellness glutes. I need figure glutes. So that is what we've been working on. So the it's just better conditioning and just work on those little things. So the package is there, the shape is there, the structure is there. It's just nailing the conditioning.
Yeah, that's important because especially in figure, you want certain aesthetics. You want your quads to be as big as physique of women's bodybuilding. You want
Right.
the good broad shoulders. You want the good roundness in your delts. You want that nice connection between your hamstrings and your tie-ins. You don't
Right.
want to be like too much like wellness because some of those girls, their quads are bigger than some men in men's open or men's classic or even the guys' men's physique. I mean, I've seen women right now who should be going up in the division because they really kind of, again, we go back to how the divisions in the sport has evolved over time.
Mhm. Yeah, I think, it's again, I think with the broadness and categories, you just have to see what works for you. I think not only for your body and your shape, but also for your personality, because there are some people who can't walk in heels. So maybe, the heel division isn't for you. Some people, I mean, just how your body's built, you might not be able to do wellness. You might not be able to, move up. Maybe you have to come down. So you just have to, again, those are discussions you have with coaches. Those are discussions you have when you get your feedback on what works. When you go to shows, that's why when you do your first show, maybe you jump into two different categories just to see what works for you. So,
Mhm. Yeah, because that's what a lot of amateurs do. They kind of double dip. I've interviewed interviewed a while back a young lady. She was doing figure and doing wellness, and she got a pro card in figure. A lady
mhm,
also interviewed back a couple years ago. She got a pro card in figure, but she was doing wellness. I know
mhm,
ladies who do physique and do women's bodybuilding got a pro card in both divisions. I mean,
yeah,
one lady I interviewed, she did physique and figure, got
mhm,
three pro cards, two in a figure class and one in women's physique. If each, I think each athletes try to find where they work at. Me try to find a
mhm,
balance. That's why crossover is so much in the NPC.
right.
Mhm. Well, we have some comments here. These guys, hey, I like to say, Sheena, hey, why get a new girl? It's like when the episode of when a Chappelle show when Prince and Eddie meet when Charlie Eddie Murphy meets Prince and he hang with that Nikki Free and say like yo Shalmar got a new girl she's fine I'm up say hey, Joey got a new girl she's fine I'm up. They get all excited. We got here comments shots from my man here. Um, Black Panther. Thank you, brother, for coming through. He says, Sheena, great words of wisdom. Here from my brother KL, he says this. He says, Sheena, you make me want to eat some chocolate. He's stupid. And also, this is my man Black Panther. He says this. Shout out to Black Panther. He's really supportive. These guys are fans. He says, beautiful woman with muscles. And one more from my man KL. He says this. He says, you look like you should become a wellness competitor. You have those aesthetics, Afro aesthetics, uh, like George describes them. Yeah, because I think wellness, some of those women, because that's why the Brazilians are so dominant, especially in the pro level, because they have those Afro aesthetics. They have the bigger hips, smaller waist, thicker the thighs. I've seen women who do wellness like one lady I follow, she's thinking about coming down from physique to wellness, but
Mhm.
she's older and she is what's the best way to say Anglo-Saxon, and she just don't have those aesthetics for the division. I would say maybe move the figure; it might fit better for her.
Again, I think it just you it it's a it ha- ag- again it's a personal decision, and you have to be comfortable with it. You know what I'm saying? So, and you have to put in the work, because to me, I've had friends that have switched from figure to wellness, or some people have done WPD and switched to wellness. It's work. It is a if you look at is it Christina Mendoza? She was doing women's physique, and I
Women's
think she
bodybuilding,
went women's bodybuilding. I'm sorry, and then now she's I think she's switching over to um, wellness.
wellness.
So you think about how much downsizing you have to do, but still almost how you still have to kind of rebuild your body and train differently. So it's not bodybuilding is hard, but I think too, depending on the category, if you're very dominant up top, not and then having to not work that and work on bringing that down, that could be a challenge. It's
Hmm.
not just about just because you have you know big glutes and quads. If you don't have hamstrings to tie it in, you might as well not even try. So it's again, I think you have to. It's a personal decision and whatever works for you.
Yeah, I know. Shanique Grant came back. She did wellness, and before then she was figure. Before she came a physique champion,
She was,
with her,
yeah,
hmm,
yeah.
yeah, with her, I think she still has those aesthetics from both those two divisions. She's still a bit more size in the shoulders. She's a little bit bigger. She does have a great, because Afro aesthetics. She does have a great shape to her. But I think with Chrisheena, she needs to take at least 2 years or more to really drop a lot of that upper body muscle. And also, she does have naturally big, because she's Cuban, which is also ethnicity that has Afro aesthetics. She's Cuban. She just really has to really work on her glutes and her tie-ins, and just really drop a lot of upper body muscle. I mean, I would say give her 2 years if she wanted to really seriously commit to physique, or to wellness, or just do physique. Because I've seen girls right now in physique who are sitting at 200 pounds, who are bigger than some women in bodybuilding.
Yeah, but I'll give it to Shanique. When she came back, whew, she looked good.
Yeah, she's
That
good.
one
Yeah,
looked amazing, amazing.
yeah.
So to
Like,
see the transformation, from women's physique to what she did to wellness, it was very applaudable. So again, I some of these, you got to give it up. I have nothing but respect for, honestly, for anyone who steps on the stage. You have to applaud them, because again, you're like the 1% of the 1% who's actually choosing to do this. So that's one thing, when people approach me, whether I'm tanning them or just at a show, it's just like, just enjoy it, but then also give yourself credit. Don't, just because, yeah, you might not have gotten, you might have gotten last place, but think about it. You stuck to something, and this is probably the best you've ever looked in your life. So a win is a win. And
yeah.
what you choose to do after that, then that's up to you. Improve on it, challenge yourself.
Vin Diesel said it best: "Be a yard or a mile, a win is a win." So we have here a comment from my man Melvin. Says, shout out to Melvin. He says, "A good choice." My man Ryan Lake has seen him a while. Ryan coming through. He says, "Hello, hello, Ryan." And also we have here a comment from my man KL the Wanderer. He says this. He says, "Whatever works for the individual, they're going to be the one on stage." Also, shout out to man uh,
Right.
Melvin. He made this comment. He says, lower back. Yeah, because I think one thing is, I know a couple of things, because sometimes it'd be an issue with the lower back, because that pose is kind of awkward. It's kind of really, funky looking. You have to, you stick your butt out, and you have to, it's just it's a lot.
Hey, that's why you practice.
And that's people got to remember that it's practice that's involved in it. Like, you're posing. Like, we're gonna go back, like your coach. Who's your coach? And you have a posing coach too?
I normally post with Sheila Brown. Um, if you don't know her, she's at
I
Flexi
know her.
Brown uh, on Instagram. She's amazing. She has probably one of the top posing coaches in the IFBB. But I've always stuck with her. She's great. My coach is Anton Witherspoon. He is a men's physique pro down here in Texas, originally from Louisiana. So, former Olympian, but that is my coach. So,
When Miss Brown, I have heard of her for many years. She was really, when she started her career, was women's bodybuilding, because back in the day
mhm,
there was so many divisions, and then she went to women's physique after she went pro. She works with Battle Up Production. They sponsor shows
yep,
like the Heart of Texas, the Texas Pro. There's so many great Texas. You are really blowing up when it comes to bodybuilding. Um, Quite a few ladies who are in that part of Texas is like people like Mela Ash, I'm a fan of hers.
yep,
Sarah Vilga, she's in Texas.
yep.
Rhea Gale, who's the current
Ashley,
Miss Olympia. Oh, Ashley, yes, Ashley. I can't forget about Ashley Jones, because I got to meet her a while back when I was
one
in
of the
Tampa.
sweetest people you'll ever meet.
Yes, she looked at me. I look like a big bear hugging a little baby. So, and she gave me a shout out. It was like the a friend of mine, Alex. Alex was there, and he ran into her. She gave me a shout out saying she appreciated you. Hope we get to meet again. I think she's a lovely lady. I'm still a fan of Andrea. I think also another lady also does tanning is also a lady I got to meet is Sharonica Hinton, and she's an
Yep,
amazing lady. I mean,
yep.
she does tanning back. I remember there was a her
Yeah,
doing she was
she works with
yeah.
Protein. Yep.
Yeah. I remember there was a video of her tanning Andrea. I was just like, I was transfixed. So, is there anybody in sports you admire as a competitor?
Um, you've mentioned all the ladies we just mentioned. Ashley, um, Sharonica. As far as figure, of course, Sid, Jessica Reyes Padilla is here in Texas, so she's one of the. I think she's the most winningest figure pro that we have. I think I'm correct about that. Um, but honestly, in figures, I mean, Sid is it. She's one of. I mean, just on and off stage, how she presents herself. Even post retirement, she's living life, but still giving back with her shows, and still putting on events and stuff, and still supporting pretty much all of the divisions. So um, to me, again, it's anybody that gets up to do this and who pushes themselves in this sport, you have my respect. You know, that's the first thing. Because again, it's a choice to do this, but also you have to respect the grind that people when they really put their all into it. You have to do nothing but respect it.
Yeah, that thing is that it is a grind. You have to be consistent. You have to be disciplined, persistent, regimental. And one part is that the good part of bodybuilding is figuring out what works for you as you grow in this process. Your coach has a plan for you, and he understands what it takes for you to get to that next level. Um, so, what's the plan for this year?
So as far as shows, I'm looking to do like a warm up show here in Texas, and then shoot for NPC Masters in Pittsburgh in July.
So that's the
So
Teen Collegiate and Masters. Yes, and
yes,
Gary
yeah,
Unit. He sponsors that
yes.
show. He promotes that show. And that's a pretty good show. I know a lady a while back I interviewed and got to meet her. She got a pro card there. Masters is really blown up the last few years. It's this year. They right now put the list for the Masters Olympia. It's going to be 2027.
Yep.
Uh, you know, would you if you get your pro card this year, would you want to hit the ground running, or you feel like you need more time?
No, I mean, to me, if I get my pro card, why not? If I'm already in shape to do it and I have a show lined up, I mean, I've heard Sandy say if you've already got your pro card and you have the opportunity to stand next to pros, why not? Get your feet wet. Just jump in and do it. So if I get my pro card, when I get my pro card this year, um, yeah, why not? Whether it's a master show or a regular show, why not? Just at least to see how I compare. You know,
hmm Yeah, because I know some ladies who get the pro cards and then take some time off because again, when you get to the IFBB, you're starting from the bottom again. The
right,
spins.
right,
Now you have to step up your game. You're competing with some ladies who have been competing pro for a long time, and
right.
then how the judges have changed. Because even though you might face somebody like Sandy, who does a lot of the amateur shows, or you
Mhm.
got guys like Steve Weinberger, you got Tim Gardner. One person I don't really take seriously as a judge is Tyler Mannion because he's still wet behind the ears, the breath smell like Similac, as Jerome would say. It's a process. Sometimes I ran to a lady, she got a pro card back in 2014, made her pro debut last year at Tampa. That was 11 years. She did pretty good. She won the Masters O in women's physique, but then she can go to the she won the Masters qualification for the Masters O that year, but because it was too, didn't have time, or Japan was too, not enough time for her to get ready for that show. And then she did a next show. She was very amazing. Her name was April Cosamato. She was very amazing her second show. And I think she's planning on competing this year. I
Mhm.
think it's about taking the time to figure out how you want to grow, how you want to progress. Shout out to my man KL. He has a question. He says this. He says, um, Sheena, do you do natural bodybuilding?
No, I compete in NPC. I've never done a natural show.
Like I said, where natural shows are in NPC now, but it's
Yeah,
even
yeah,
they're expanding. But the thing is that most people will look at bodybuilding always going to associate the use of steroids or performance enhancers, because here's the thing is it doesn't help you stick to a diet. It doesn't help you stick to discipline. it's something used for recovery. Your body, like I'm like I said, I'm not a spring chicken. I got two bad knees like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Got a pace salt maker. I'm gonna be in a few months. Gonna be 52 years old. And if I start training, I do work out a little bit. I try, because at one point I was like taking my mom, so I was stressed with that, and food is a comfort. And I was at almost 500 pounds. And then after she was gone, I said, you know what, I had to make some healthy choices and life changes. I don't do as
Mhm.
much again because my knees can be problems, but that's something that helps you for recovery because it takes a while. Like compared to natural competitors, I interview natural competitors, it takes them a lot longer to recover because they're not using performance enhancers. But again, it's always that thing that points at bodybuilding, but just about everybody. This is from a fighter I follow. His name is Nate Diaz. He says everybody uses it.
I mean, I again, that's a personal decision as a competitor that you have to make. You have to think about your lifestyle, your health. Not everybody needs to go down that route. So some people genetically can just work out, eat right, and they can get up on stage and do that. But there's other people. You could be stepping on stage with a 24-year-old that is using everything under the sun, and you could be 45 not using anything but still look way better than them because the muscle maturity and just how you live your life could be different. So I don't, it doesn't if whether you do it or not, whether you go down that route, again, I don't think that's necessarily going to make you automatically beat a person whether they're on it or not or anything. So again, do your research, get a good coach, and if that's the route you want to go, then that's for you. But that's a personal decision for each and every competitor.
Yeah, I think with young people, they like things quick, fast, and hurry. But you have to have patience. It takes time. And one thing is to have discipline over motivation. Motivation can change with the wind. You can get one morning like, it's a nice day. I'm going to go for a run. Then you look out, and the next morning say, it's raining and snowing. I think I'll stay inside. That I think that what separates the people who really want to go out there and do their best. The people who just say, you know what, let me just do the bare minimum.
I mean, that's just like questioning whether you want to go for your pro card or not. Some people can go do a pro show. I mean, go to a national show, do go one time and get their pro card. Then they won't ever compete again, or they get their pro card and they never win a pro show. So there's other people where it takes your 10 years or 5+ years to get a pro card. But again, everybody's journey is different. So again, maybe you had kids and you had to take time off, but then your kids are grown and now you want to get back into it. Everybody's road in this, everybody's story in this is different, which again makes it a unique sport
Yeah, because
because you meet so many different stories.
yeah, because it's sport is a passion. Because when you get into it, you get into a passion. If you get into thinking that, hey, I'm gonna be this big celebrity like that, then you're not gonna. You're not because again, this is not a very mainstream sport. If you're lucky enough, the few 1% that do make a living from it, you look at you saw Andrew Jack just won the Arnold. As you know, I'm not a big fan of Arnold because he cut out the visions like figure and physique and women's bodybuilding. I just interviewed a young lady who got a pro card there. Her name is Brittany. Just
And
got a pro card there.
looked amazing.
Yeah,
She looked.
she looked great. I mean, congratulations to her. I think she's planning on competing this year. We have here, shout out to my man KL. He's been sticking in here. He likes to ask questions. Says, how long you been competing, and do you have a show that was a real highlight?
I started competing again in 2017. So, uh, 9 years? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I've always done figure. That's the only category I've ever done. A highlight?
I think about a show that you feel like you placed your best and you came in your best.
Um, I don't know if I really can. Each show is so different. Each show, looking back on it, it's like it's different because I just feel like I was at a different place at each prep brings something different. You know, last year when I was on prep, it was I kind of like I felt like I had one foot in, one foot out. Like so, I wasn't completely mentally all locked in, as to where this year everything's kind of lining up to where, work is fine. I'm able to mentally, I'm in a place to where I'm feeling like, okay, let's just get this done, So I don't know if I have a real highlight. The whole thing has been, to me, it's overall, it's been a really dope journey so far, to be honest with you. Even at the lowest points where, I was just like really ready to quit, looking back on it, it's just like, you didn't quit, you kept going. So, that's gotta, that stands for something, So I don't know, every prep, every show, it's a different experience. And it's not one yet to where I've completely just wanted to hang my heels up yet. So
It's like, the movie Rocky Balboa, Sylvester Stallone. We talk to his son and says, it's not about how much you can hit, it's how much you can take the hit to keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. It's like sometimes you're gonna have those days where what's the worth doing this? I'm putting this money into this sport. What I'm getting out of this, this and that. Not maybe a little trophy here and there, and maybe I get a pro card if I do win. What do I get out of it? But the thing is, like you said, you do this because it's a passion. You love doing it. You love competing. You love being on the
right.
stage. We have
And
here, we got
I
comments
would
from my
also
man.
say just, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. I said, what do you do outside of bodybuilding in terms of hobbies or occupations? Where she runs her own tanning company. But what are you about to say? You know,
Oh no, I was just gonna say, I was like one of the, I would say, as far as a highlight, I've met some really dope people in this industry. I can definitely say that a lot of my, closest friends now are, I've met through this sport. So that's really been a highlight. Being at the shows, working at some of the shows, being a part of, some of the shows here in Texas, seeing the growth of this sport is been really crazy to watch, as competitor and from someone who's just a fan. So that's a highlight.
hmm yeah, because you know what, I got into bodybuilding because my older brother used to play football here in our hometown, and he used to get the muscle mags like Flex and Muscle and Fitness, and we were kids.
Mhm.
Used to like, and I grew up in the good part of the '80s, and what was popular, the most popular cartoon at that time was He-Man and Thundercats. You had the muscular, guys, and then,
Mhm.
when I got to my probation age, you women, kind of bring out a particular kind of personality out of me. I had to meet my crown to you, Sheena. I almost have her smile. But again, doing this content and talking to you ladies, I get to learn more about the process, the discipline, the consistency, the work, the ethics that's part of the sport. It's so much more, especially if you're a person outside of it, you may not understand it, but you want to learn. Like my man comment here, he said like this. Shout out to my man K. I was thinking in here, appreciate you, brother. He says, for you, what's citing about bodybuilding to a point you can talk about it with the average person who doesn't compete?
Like I said, you're just able to meet a lot of different people, whether you do the sport or not. Going to a show and just, when you walk around, like if you go to the expos or something like that, you just meet so many different people. Like different, when you see some of the vendors, and some of them are like, I've never been to like a bodybuilding show before, and you just get to meet and talk to different people from all walks of life. That's really one of the best parts of it. um, from an individual standpoint, again, to me, you just learn so much about yourself. Like, again, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, it's you will learn a lot about yourself during the whole process, because sometimes it's just you. When you're doing cardio, or some days you are in your head and it's only you, and nobody else is making you do this. This is a decision that you're choose. Again, this is something we choose to do. So nobody's making you get up at 4:30, 5 o'clock, or if you have to do cardio late at night, to fix your meals and do all of that. But again, it's like, it's a goal. How bad do you want it? And then and then after you do it, it just becomes a lifestyle. So even after I've hung up my heels and I'm not competing anymore, I will probably still get up at the same time I get up now to go to the gym. It's a part. This is something I love to do, you know, and health wise, why am I going to stop? You know?
Mhm. Mhm. For me, when I started doing this content and then we just reach out to do any of these with you ladies, then I learned something also about myself. I did it my own way. Like I went to my first show was Savannah back in 2022, and I met some of the ladies I've interviewed and met some of the ladies I followed in sport. One lady I got to meet was Alina Popa, amazing lady, beautiful woman, amazing bodybuilder. Then last year I went to Tampa because my friend Eunice, she runs Bad Rap. She was working on a booth, so I want to go help my friend, you know. And I got to meet some amazing people. Like here, I got to meet Paula Ranta. This is a young lady who's just, I think she's gonna be 26 this year. She's just amazing. 26. I mean, what was I doing 26? I worked at a job. And
Right.
also I got to meet a legend, Kevin Lavrone. Here's me, him, Bob Chicarillo, Isabel Terrell. I try not to look at Isabel because she's very, and Tim Gardner there. And then one of the things that was a highlight for me was meet a legend of rock and roll. This is my friend Eunice and me, and this is David Lee Roth, Diamond Dave
Oh,
from
wow.
Van Halen. Oh my God, he's a big bodybuilding fan because he was talking to us like he was really into fitness and health back when he was younger. And one of his friends was Kay Baxter. She was a legendary bodybuilder. She used to train him before she passed away. And he talked to us. And I saw him earlier. I didn't recognize it at first because I thought it was this older dude with his wife. And then we started working down the aisle. And I saw that smile on that face. My brain registered, that's David Lee Roth. I would have never met that man if I didn't come to Tampa, help my friend out, and and got interviews and made some connections. That's why I enjoy about this content. I get to make. I'm planning on going to a show in the end of the by the end of summer because, like I said, I live on a stack, on Social Security. I got to save every dollar. I gotta, just pay my bills, and I want to go to another show because I want to meet some of these people that I've interviewed or follow, and
Mhm.
really want to get that feel of being at these shows.
Yeah, again, you just get to meet a lot of different people along this journey. So that's it's dope.
Yeah. So, what's the day like for you when you're going to the gym? What's that thing that when you get in the gym, say, I love doing it. It's the great thing to do it. And I think, shit, I don't want to do this.
So the oh shit moment is probably when I wake up. It's just like, when you hear that alarm go off, it's just like some days you feel like you just laid down and you getting right back up.
Yeah, I remember
But
those days.
once I'm up, I'm up. It's just like we this is what we do. So, but once I get in the gym and, find my playlist that I'm gonna listen to for that session. And you just get into it and get going. For me, I used to go after I went to work, like I would go to the gym. But then I'm just like me and a whole bunch of people, I can't do it anymore. I don't want to wait for a machine. I just want to get in, get out. So for me, getting up and getting my workout in the morning, it works for my schedule. Because when I'm home, I'm that person, I'm not leaving. So um it's typically up at 4:30 at the gym, um, at the latest by 5:15. Get back home, get the dog ready, sit, make sure she's fed, work, and then after I'm off work, it's cardio and eat, and we go to sleep and do it all over again.
Yeah. Wash, rinse, and repeat.
It, Once you get into a groove, that's literally, sometimes that's how prep feels. It's just you eating the same stuff. You're doing the same stuff. You just get into your routine.
hmm That's the thing. That's what's part of consistency. Because if you stay
Yeah.
consistent, it helps. In your process. The discipline and consistency is the most important part about being a bodybuilder. Like some people say that, like 67% of the work is in the kitchen. Another, 30 and 40 would be in the gym. Someone's involved. Like, what's your favorite workout? And that workout, you just say, "Oh God, I don't want to do this today."
Uh, Probably when I do hip thrusts. That's I don't. I'm not a fan, but I do it. So I don't see. Again, kudos to all the wellness ladies who sit up there and put 4, 5, 10 plates on those things. I'm not a fan, but give me a good back exercise, and I'm with you all day. I'm there for a good RDL. Those I'll do RDLs all day. Anything back related, I'm cool with. But yeah, that.
For us who are for laymen's out there, what are RDLs so we let them know?
RDLs are oh my gosh, why did I just forget what it is?
Your
Why
delt
did
and lats.
no, they're oh my gosh, why did I just forget what they're called? I just do them. I mean, I know
You just
reverse
do.
deadlifts. Oh my gosh, I just had a
Okay,
brain fart.
verse. All
Reverse
right, that's all
deadlifts
right.
is what it's called.
Reverse. Okay, all right, that's all right. I mean, like I said, again, a lot of people be like, "What's he talking about?" That's not because a lot of you
No,
guys,
no,
yeah, because a lot of you guys are more like, "This is chocolate buff chair. I'm just listening to it. I don't care about anything else."
no.
But the thing is this is about educating people to understand what drives someone like yourself to do the sport, where there's not a lot of financial support, not a lot of real opportunities. You look at the other sports, um, again, the cost of the travel to the shows, entry fees, food, coaching. That's still involving. Are you sponsored by anybody at this time?
Mm-mm. No.
Guys, I said to you, if you are serious about sponsorship, reach out and genuine interest. I mean, we don't want that weird guy saying, "Hey, Sheena, I saw your last interview. Yeah, I like you, kind of. So if I do a favor for you, no, you sick freak. This is what you do. You approach her like her says, Mrs. Williamson, we are interested in your passion. Your company is very interested in something that you are inspiring, being a businesswoman. We have a particular plan. We are a company that helps to sponsor athletes and make them brand ambassadors. So if you are interested in being part of it, this is something that helps you in your process, and we want to see you grow as an athlete. Let us know, and we'll be happy to help you out.
Yeah, I think with sponsorships and brands, again, what I've seen is make from pros and things like that, from what I've witnessed, make sure they align with what you really want to do. Anybody and everybody can throw out, a 15% off code. But, you know, if I see something, I'm just like, oh, that's cute. It's just like, but the person is a trash human being. I'm not going to use your code. So I would say if you're new to the sport, take that into account. Just make sure that, again, there's no, it's, you think bodybuilding is 1% of the 1%. And then again, like you said, people that are actually making a career out of this, it's not just them winning pro shows. They're coaches, they have side hustles going on, they're partnering with the right people. So just again, always do your research. That's the main thing I can really say in this sport. Just do your research. Just not on the sport itself, but on, the people that you follow. Ask those questions. I think a lot of pros will, or people that have been in this sport for years will answer those questions on, how did you get to where you're at? Ask questions. Take time to learn from people that you respect.
Mhm. A quote from my favorite movie, Batman Begins, when being this is Henry Cotton K. Ross goes talking to Bruce Wayne as they're training together, says, "Beware of surroundings of all time, your Master Wayne. Never give a sure footing for a killing blow." And that's the thing is, be aware what you're dealing with. Some people, like, there's some companies out there are not they're very popular, but some things, their politicals or whatever issues they have may not align with yours. That's true.
Right.
And then there's companies out there that, like my friend Eunice, they sponsor athletes, they sponsor shows. I'll send you a link. You want to check them out. They're a great company, bad rap. They want to give the opportunity for women, especially sport of bodybuilding. They're really a big fan of women's bodybuilding, but they like to reach out to other competitors. Here we go from my man KL. He says this. He says, she reminds me of Terry Vaughn from the Steve Harvey show. Oh, you mean Velveeta?
That's
I
hilarious.
didn't watch that show that I didn't watch that show that much. Every now and then. I remember his first show was a little. I liked it a little better, but then I think the woman who played grandma died, and they just eventually canceled. So one thing I'm gonna ask you this, Sheena. And this is something, especially as a fat man, I like to ask this question of you ladies, especially on that long prep and your diet. I know your coach gives you a refeed now and then, but then the opportunity after a long, hard prep, and your mouth is salivating for something. What's that thing that's desire? What's that thing, as I would say, that make you stranger yet make you stronger?
After every show, I always go to Hop Dottie. Hop Dottie's a burger place out here. I think it's a chain. I know they have one a couple other cities, but I always get like they have truffle fries and their mushroom burger. And if I
So,
can't have that, then it'll probably be Cheesecake Factory.
oh, yes. I'm not much for cheesecake. I remember one of my great nieces, my oldest nephew daughter, was she was at school was selling like these like oranges and fruits and they had cheesecake. I said, "No, if you have pound cake, I'm go for it, but I'm not much for cheesecake. It's just, I don't know. My mama, she's a country woman. She used to cook, homemade cake. She used to get the up to 6 or 7 layers, and she used chocolate or jelly. Apple jelly is the best. I used to love those. There's days I miss my mama's cooking. That's the things I miss. I know you. I said again, we got to support your friends, your family, your mother, your father, and and just this is a sport where I would say if there was better opportunities, especially when it comes to women, and I go back to the issue where there's one side of the coin where the guy's saying like this chick, she's kind of got muscles, she's kind of manly. I don't think I want to be like her. And then there's the other guy say she got muscles. Can I touch? Anyway, what's your thoughts?
Thoughts on
Just how people
just
interact
people
with
on
you.
their opinions on
Yeah,
people
yeah,
with
yeah,
muscle?
yeah.
I mean, again, it's your opinion is going to be your opinion. That's not going to stop me from doing what I'm doing. I mean, for every person that will say like, "Ooh, she's got muscles," there's 10 other people that are like, "Girl, I respect it." So again, you're everyone's entitled to their opinion, but I mean, I can't pay my bills with people's opinions. So in this, I have I have one life to live, and I will do what makes me happy. So at this particular point in my life, uh, reaching my goals is what's going to make me happy. So whether that's on the stage or off the stage, um, those things will happen. So as long as my bills are paid, I'm following the plan, and God sees fit for me to do it, I will continue to do it.
That's cool. That's respectful. Like my other guy says, I don't have a plan, Sheena. I'm just a dog chasing cars. If I get one, I never know if I do with it. And this is the thing is that everybody who gets in sport finds something about them. It's the passion, it's the desire. If not getting a pro card, just meeting people and sharing that passion with them, and just finding out who you are as a person. Those people who have an issue with you, I wouldn't waste my time with them. They like this is what I say to you. I said, God bless the haters because you hate so much and I care so little. We
I
got here. Mhm.
I can tell you this: anybody that's ever had that has never said it to my face. So it's not a problem for me unless you bring it to me, and it's never been brought to me. So again, it's not a problem that I have. So
Yeah. Well, that's a them problem, not a you problem. Uh,
exactly.
Shout out to man K. Ellie says, I see you have a lot of medals in the back. Where those mostly bodybuilding or other sports?
Oh no, that's all bodybuilding.
Yeah, because that thing is, it's a sport where I think a lot of people find passion in. Well, folks, we're not going to hold Sheena much too longer. We do appreciate the time she's given us here. Sharing her story, sharing her path. If you're interested in her, she's planning on competing at the Team Collegiate Show in Pittsburgh that's coming up in July. We hope she gets a pro card. Also, she runs a business, which is a tanning business. So if you are someone who is a competitor If you are just an everyday person want instant tanning, if you are working by the shows, say hello to it. Give her a pound, show some respect. You know, what is you feel like is your best when you're on stage? What you feel like is your best physical feature?
Um, my delts be popping a little bit. Quads are there. The quads are there. We're like I said, the back once we bring the conditioning in a little more density, it's gonna be a wrap. It's gonna be a wrap.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. You want that overall great look. You want the great aesthetics of the figure. Would you ever consider kicking off the high heels and take a shot? You've been competing for quite a long time.
And do something else. Mm-mm.
You-
No, I am a figure girly through and through. So this is where I'm going to stay.
Well, respect that, ma'am. I mean, everybody finds a place where they're comfortable with and they want to stay at. Some competitors eventually they grow involved and move up. Some people don't want to move up because they feel like I want to stay here. But if you are just like this, if you are a 10, try to set yourself in a size 5. I think it doesn't work. It may be just your body. You should just go ahead and follow what your body's telling you to go. But it's good
Mhm.
that if you feel comfortable where you're at, that's good for you. Shout out to my man Kaylee says, she looks interesting. All right. Yeah, she does. Also, he says this, he says, what's your man have to say about you competing? Does he come for your shows? That's kind of personal. Is there anybody special in your life? Is there a Mr. Williamson?
My father.
Oh, daddy, daddy's girl. See, this is like this. As
Oh, through and through, unabashedly, my daddy is that's my homie.
well, my mama was my woman. And we used to. When I used to have my job where I was off on the weekends, we go shop to yard sales and do like that. She'd be driving. We just be so that when my older brother was alive, we used to go out together. As
Hmm.
any man, we're all pretty much mama's boys, and all daughters are daddy's girls. Because one thing is, it takes a man to build a boy up to become a man. It takes a woman to take a woman to become a woman, and and with that, as sons, our mothers are our first true love. As a little girl, your daddy's your first true love because that's the man you pattern everybody else afterwards. And same thing with us boys. But it's good that he has a good relationship with your father, that he supports you because that's the most necessary part of this. Because this sport can be mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, and spiritually draining.
Yeah.
That's just only just the cost of traveling, the suits, everything else. Also going through prep. We talk
Hmm.
about this on my channel where you have to deal with body dysmorphia,
Oh yeah,
post
for
show
sure.
blues. You
Oh,
can't stay shredded all year round.
you have to. That's ooh, that we could talk a whole nother 30 minutes, 40 minutes about just those two topics alone. So yeah. So again, if you're getting into this sport, just make sure again you are doing those mental check-ins with yourself and people that are in your circle. If you believe in God, whoever you believe in, make sure you stay prayed up, and just keep focused as much as you can, and just remember your why of why you do this. Because again, if your whys can change, but at the end of the day, you just have to keep that reminder of why you're doing this.
Hmm.
You just gotta cut all the noise out at some point.
Yeah, don't pay attention to people who have their opinions because opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one, and sometimes they
Mhm.
stink. Just to focus on because you're not competing against another person. It's like more like you versus you. And
It
for
really.
those people, yeah, yeah. What you about to say?
No. I said that's very true because yeah, you're standing up there, but when you're getting on stage time after time, you're trying to beat that last person. That last person you're trying to beat is the package that you brought before. So it really is you versus you.
Yeah, and we as people like myself who go to these shows and we go see these amazing bodies, amazing physiques, but don't understand that the work it took here, the diet, the dehydration, the hangry, the tired, getting up in the morning, training, rest, recovery. But we see these amazing bodies, shredded, ripped up, body oil and tan. We like we see that, but don't understand what it took to get there. And then you have your dad. He's in the audience. That's my baby there. Yeah, that's my baby. And it says, yeah, your mind should be my baby. But you know what? Again, this is a sport about determination, consistency, just patience, and also discipline. You know,
Mhm.
because it's not easy. Not everybody like the great White Coleman says. Everybody wants to be a bodybuilder. No one lifts this heavy ass weight.
Exactly.
So, folks, again, I don't want to hold her much too longer. I know she's a busy lady. She got work. She got this. She got a dog to take care of. If you're interested in supporting Sheena, reach out in genuine interest. If you have a plan that works with her, that's respectful, that she knows that will help her in her future, let her know. This is one question I ask you: what would you want for yourself as a future towards your bodybuilding?
I think just to leave the sport better than I found it. For my own, whether that's again speaking life into other people that I meet, at a show, or just helping out other friends that are going, trying to pursue their dreams. Um, I think that's the biggest thing. You want to leave people in situations better than you found them. So that's the biggest thing. Whether even if it's on a micro level, that's a goal.
It's good to have that goal to achieve whatever you feel like you want to achieve. If you don't make it this year, you can always make it next year. Or again, you can always say, you know what, I've done what I can done. I'm proud of myself. Let me move on to something else that I'm passionate about. You know, this sport is a passion sport.
Yeah,
I
like I
would
said, once
say,
like hang up the heels, I would still be coming to shows. I would still support people. I would still support, you know, people like Sheila and Freddie and Battle Up Crew. Again, I've met a lot of people through this sport of bodybuilding, and it's something that I'll probably always be, attached to at some point, even if I'm not that person jumping on stage.
mm-hmm. Man here, KL, he being here, he's more a fan of the muscle of women muscle, not so much of the sport, but he's learning. He's doing interviews and content on women in bodybuilding. I got another friend. I got to meet him when I was in Tampa. My name David. He runs his own channel where we do interviews with women in the sport. Other content makers, because we want to give y'all ladies opportunity to recognize. Everybody pay attention to the TNA divisions and and like wellness and bikini, because they are the divisions where very look very more feminine compared to if you look at figure, physique, or bodybuilding. But we want to recognize your passion, commitment as an athlete, and that's what you are. You're an athlete. You may not be the stereotypical athlete if you're a baseball player, soccer, football, other sports where they get more attention. I mean, back in the day, I used to remember bodybuilders used to come on network television and cable. You can
Hmm.
read, like, if you know Triple O's coming up in about a couple of weeks, and that's the show where women's bodybuilding figure are presented. It's just wish more people would be more open to it, not always saying it's about these big muscles and yeah 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 yeah. And again, I wish there was more financial opportunities. The men, like guys like Andrew Jack, can walk away with nearly $250,000. Andrea and Sid, they made a bit of change, but not as much as the men. Because as I said, like this, the men's divisions, like men's open, most definitely, it's the bottom bitch. If you know the pimping game, it's the one that gets the money and attention. But as long as you found a passion for this, and you feel like you are capable of great things, you do you.
Yeah, but I think again, there's outlets like yourself. There's other podcasts and things like that that are giving us an opportunity, to kind of promote ourselves and speak about these things. So I think as long as those steps are being taken and people are still getting the opportunity to get the word out there, like the situation with women's bodybuilding, there are a lot of eyes on it now because the ladies are speaking up. So you keep knocking on the door, eventually the door will open. So I don't think it's not dying, but I think it's just a stair step to what's to come, which I think will be good things. So just
Yeah.
got to keep
And also,
knocking.
also you got to really want to fight for it, because if anything you want to have, you have to fight
Right,
for it. You're not going to get it. No one's going to give
right,
it to you.
right,
Hand it to you on a silver platter. You have to fight for it, because you know what that's the thing is. If you're not willing to put yourself out there, and then everybody else is, and then you want to benefit from it, then you should.
right,
If you're not got your boots on the ground, 10 toes down, and put in the work and the time like everybody else is, you deserve no benefits from it.
right.
Mhm. So, madam, I'm not gonna hold you longer. I'll give a shout out to my guys over here. Shout out my man KL, the Wanderer, Melvin that came through, Ryan Lake, Panther 7, all you people who watched and commented on this live stream. I really appreciate y'all guys. Madam, do you have anybody you want to shout out before I let you go?
Just thank you again for the opportunity to speak with you. It was very fun. You and all of your personalities. Shout out to my coach, again, Anton Witherspoon, to my trainer, Micah Thomas down in Houston, my family, my friends, people that are supporting. Again, anyone who's supporting athletes and just bodybuilding in general. Shouts out to you.
Well, man, we appreciate that. Anytime when somebody says thank you to me, I said, this is a quote from one of my favorite movies, Batman Begins. At the end of it, Gary Oldman is Jim Gordon talking to Batman. Christian Bale says, I never got a chance to say thank you. And he turned around and says that you never have to. Because this is why I do this. This gives me a purpose. Because I was taking care of my mom. I like I said, I was a big fan of women's bodybuilding for a long time, and then started doing content and doing. A friend of mine named Shelton Harrison. He's a coach. He does content MMA and mixed martial arts. He told me, do something that you like. And I said, I'm a big fan of women's bodybuilding, and it helped me taking care of my mom and dealing with stuff like that. And when she was gone, I need something to fulfill myself. Keep myself busy, keep my mindset, and reach out to women like yourself. I would love to someday have Andrea on here. I don't know what to do. I probably act like like Oprah Winfrey, Color Purple said, "See you, Miss Andrea, sitting in his house to rot, and I know I saw you. I know there was a God." I'm a fool. I realize that because I have multiple personalities, but I appreciate you, ladies, and I thank you for support. He has to say something before you let you go because he can't help himself. He can't help himself because he's a particular Capricorn. He says, "Again, Sheena, I like your name. Damn, Sheena. I will tell you this one more time. You are beautiful." I'm sorry about him, but he completes me. So, again, I'd like to thank Sheena Williamson for coming through. I thank my guests over here. Support her. She's going to be doing the Teen Collegiate, the Masters in Pittsburgh. If you want to go there, buy a ticket, roar for her. Don't outlaw her daddy because I know he's gonna be there. You don't want to be don't show out her daddy. Go there and show support. Let's wish her best of luck. I know most definitely. And if you ever want to come back on, especially get your pro card, make an announcement with the pro. We can do the other stuff too. Talk about the other stuff with extra 30 minutes we got. Just let me know. I'm always here for you, ladies.
Definitely appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome, ma'am. So anyway, folks, I wish y'all joy your rest of your weekends coming up. It seems like it's spring again. Everybody knows it's spring again. Some places not so much. Yeah.
No, in Texas, it's kind of getting towards summer. I think we skipping spring, but yeah.
Yeah, y'all can fry an egg on the road in the middle of July.
It'll be 95 by Sunday.
Oh, I don't think it ever gets this hot in North Carolina. I remember when I went to Tampa. It's humid down there. Oh my God, I felt like I was a ghetto snowman. I was going to melt. So yeah, but anyway, folks, reach out to Sheena, show support. Thanks to my guests again. Thanks to Sheena. I appreciate it for your time. And this is my Always George page. You're welcome. This is my Always George page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk. Don't like, subscribe. Good night, good luck, God bless, and see you around.